Hey, everybody. Sam and Bucky share a moment. And who is that man with a plan? This and much more on tonight's episode of I Stream, You Stream.
Hello?
Well, greetings, everyone, and a most heartfelt salutations to everyone's out there. If you're looking at your watch, you're going to notice that this is a little bit late. There's been a little technical difficulties on our part. Mostly, I've not been here. So I am here now, and now I'm being joined by the one, the only, BitOfRits and AllThatPat. And we're going to be talking... So go ahead.
The duo?
Yeah, it was just... The words were already going out of my mouth when I realized what I was doing, so it's.
I feel like you just need to clone yourself, and then that way you can be at work and with us, and that should be a problem.
I'm gonna get
get on that.
Rick. I'm gonna get Rick on that right away. I think he's the one that does that, right?
Him or Morty or the pickle. I don't know.
I've never watched. I tried watching it.
Yeah, I don't know who.
Not a fan either, but
yeah, it's all about the animation for me. It's whatever. But anyways, welcome to I Stream, You Stream. It is Thursday night. Again, we do apologize for coming on a little bit later than usual, but again, life gets in the way. Life always finds a way. I think that's what Malcolm Reynolds always says. Not Malcolm Reynolds. What am I talking about? It is late. How y'all doing? I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to say, how are y'all doing tonight?
Great!
It's past his bedtime for sure.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
It's coming up to 9, but it's all good.
So I was trying to go Jurassic Park, but then I went Firefly on character name. So Ian Malcolm, right? Was that his name from Jurassic Park?
Oh, yeah. Yes, it was.
So, wow. It had Malcolm in it. So
you were talking about a real historical person. So we're going to move on.
Ian Malcolm was real. Dinosaurs.
Okay.
Life always finds a way.
Yeah.
And the way we're going to be talking about tonight is we're going to be talking about episode number 2, the Star-Spangeld Man of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So to go ahead and get rid of our disclaimer for tonight, we do have to warn you, this is going to be a full spoiler review. So spoilers are ahead. And I should just have a little... So if you have not seen the episode number Dose of Falcon the Winter Soldier titled The Star-Spangled Man, go ahead and bookmark and save this episode for a future time.
Can I just point out, when you said Dose, he went like this, and I was like, they can't see you.
But he knows.
I know.
That's what matters.
Exactly.
Is that... Anyway, moving on.
We're dosing in spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So
I gotta ask you before we get into things.
Yes.
Do you
know the Muffin Man? He lives on Blueberry Lane.
I don't want to just say straight out, do you like this series? But do you like this series compared to WandaVision, or do you feel like it's just so different you can't necessarily compare? Because that's kind of how I'm feeling.
I would go with the latter.
Yeah.
Or the elevator.
They are two different types of series. One is very much grounded in what you would normally think of the MCU. And that would be, everything that you've seen for the past 10 plus years. This is your formulaic show type. WandaVision was completely different. They broke the mold when they did this show. And for what they needed to do for Wanda was perfect, was absolutely beautiful. And especially for the first Disney Plus Marvel Cinematic Universe series, it was a beautiful homage and a love story with the art of television. I absolutely adored that.
They set the bar too high for me with WandaVision. I'm not particularly enjoying this series as much as I was hoping to.
It's only 2 episodes in.
I know. I'm hoping that I'll get more hooked in.
Third of it.
but yeah, and like I'm just thinking of like other TV series, like what was it, Agents
of Shield.
Agents of Shield. I was into that. What were some other throw some other Marvel shows?
There was
Family Matters.
Carter.
What?
Agent Carter was the other Marvel series.
Agent Carter. I actually didn't watch the Shield one. I really liked Agent Carter, and I feel like first episode in, I was like hooked. With this one, I'm like, I was just telling all that Pat yesterday. Okay, first of all,
I'm sorry.
passes that time. He has the giggles, and the puns and the jokes are going to get worse as the night goes on.
That's okay. Bring it on.
Warning. We need a warning like you just had of that. But anyway,
I'll make a pun warning ahead.
Excuse me. But I was basically telling all that Pat earlier today that like I feel like I would have just rather like this have been either a one-shot movie or maybe a background story, an origin movie of Falcon, an origin movie of Winter Soldier, and then like a buddy cop kind of feel movie as a third. I'm not really feeling the way that things are laid out. And this episode, I'm hoping that you give us some really interesting clues and Easter eggs. But for me, I was like not super excited about this particular episode.
Right.
I feel like it was building up the origin story, for lack of a better word, to get a feel for the almost like a feeling of an anti-hero for the woman.
Captain America.
No, the woman. Captain America. That is part of the bad guy group.
Oh, Carly.
Thank you, Flag Smashers.
Well, so I'm going to rebuttal your statement with a question of my own. What were your thoughts and opinions on Captain America Winter Soldier? Because that's where essentially you get the origin story of both Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I guess we should rewatch it because I don't necessarily remember specifics of like as I'm watching the Winter Soldier pieces specifically. I'm like his story is very interesting to me. The Winter Falcon and then the Falcon stories. I think that they are interesting, but they're not necessarily like riveting to me.
Right.
Pieces that they have for him.
Definitely, Falcon's backstory is not as complicated and as in depth as the backstory to Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier is very much on par with Captain America, except for being frozen for 90 years solid. He was going in little increments, and basically whenever Hydra or the Soviet Union needed something, they would thaw him out, let him do his thing, and then put him back on ice. So that's one of the reasons why like he looks as young as he does, because he's, as he stated in the first episode, he's 106 years old. Looks pretty good for 106.
I personally like the show. It's different, but I mean, I am enjoying the stories of the characters, as far as like, as we learn in this one too, we learn about some of the other people that like Bucky, particularly the Winter Soldier, has known throughout his history, and like some of the things that the government was actually covering up.
Yep.
Learning that about, I think it was Isaiah, as we'll talk about. I'm enjoying it. I like the first episode where they kind of gave us some more background, and I think they have really good chemistry as the buddy cop, so to speak, in this one. And the again, BitOfRits kind of is alluding to the idea of like, basically a good villain in a movie is one that feels like what they're doing is right. And I feel that with the Flag Smashers, like from what we know so far, they make a point, so to speak, as to what they are trying to accomplish with.
They feel like they've been wronged, and they're just trying to make it right. Is kind of
they're trying to get back to a point when like they're actually in better situation when only half the world existed.
Right. Well, and that's what makes one of the better villains mm-hmm. is the one who, like, if you really think about what Thanos was standing for, makes sense. We are killing this planet because we're overpopulated.
Yeah, exactly.
Even when he pushed like Gamora over, that he could only kill somebody that he loved or whatever. So he obviously was sacrificing for what he thought was right.
Right. So I definitely do agree that And here's what's really nice about the MCU is, especially if you actually like dissect the last 10 movies, what style and genre each of these really kind of fall under, you're gonna get that different style. I'm just mentioning a couple of them. The Winter Soldier was very much a spy thriller, like your 70s spy thriller. You had Ant-Man and the Wasp was very much a heist movie. And then, Doctor Strange had a little bit of a horror element to it. The WandaVision, it paid homage to television. And I think this one is very much paying tribute to like your buddy cop movies.
Right.
So there's a different style and genre that they're catering to, and this is just the next evolution of that. So
I feel like I wish it was just a movie. Like I feel like that works in a movie for me. These like episode, I'm like, I feel like this could have been condensed into a movie, and I don't need like some of these what feel like very extra pieces that like are just fillers almost in my mind. Maybe and it will turn into something more for certain parts, but
I would be interested to, once we get all 6 episodes, really look at the story that it's trying to tell and truly see what is filler.
mm-hmm.
Like what could have been eliminated to tell the same story, and essentially condense it down to a 2.5, 3-hour movie. Because as it stands right now, with credits, each episode has been that 50 minutes in length. So you multiply that by 6 episodes, that's a 300 minute movie. So you're roughly at that,
like 5 hours basically.
Right. So to me, I'm always up for more Marvel, more story. So for me, I can't wait every Friday morning to watch the next installment of this saga, this story that's going on.
Yeah, it's flying by. And the last episode, as soon as it ends, I'm always like, whoa, it's done?
I don't necessarily agree that it's flying by for me. I think that there's definitely interesting characters. I'm very interested in where this new because again, we don't follow the comics, so we were very surprised about this new Captain America and what that's going to lead to. But I just feel like it's like a little, I don't know if slow is the right word in certain parts, where I'm like, I don't know that I care about this. Like, just get to the action, the points, the drama,
Right. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the actual story of what happened in this episode. So with that, we had John Walker makes an appearance on Good Morning America and talks about his journey to become Captain America. Bucky joins Sam on his mission to Germany, but not before getting yelled at for giving up the shield. Sam and Bucky get assistance from the new Captain America. Captain America wants Sam and Bucky to join him to take down the Flag Smashers. Bucky shares a secret from his past, but then gets arrested. On top of that, after he gets out of jail, Sam and Bucky decide not to work with Captain America. The Flag Smashers are on the run from the Power Brokers. And the last piece of the puzzle, Sam and Bucky reluctantly agree to go get help from Zemo.
Zima, that's a drink.
Yes.
So yeah, Baron Zemo. I'll be interesting to see how he ends up looking in the movie, because I'm familiar with Baron Zemo from the toys. Quite honestly, the superpower toys as a kid. But also there's old like cartoons in the early 80s, and he was in one of the cartoons that I rented when I was a kid. In
the credits,
they do show his mask.
Yeah, the purple mask at the end. So maybe he will have the mask at some point, or
he will don the full. That's one thing that they're doing with these shows, is they are giving the comic book treatment. Wanda got her costume.
Yeah.
Vision got his costume. At least the comic book, granted, for that it was a fun little thing that they did for the Halloween episode, but you are getting the screen accurate representation of these comics. So you, like I said, you had those two there. You are actually going to get the actual Zemo costume where he like wears the purple hood on his in his head, because that's where you put a hood. So it's going to be pretty cool to actually see that.
Yeah.
I would imagine it's probably coming up very, very soon.
I'm saying this, it will be in the Halloween episode.
Oh yes, of course they'll do the Halloween episode. Now we've before we jump into that, I just want to kind of cover some of the key players real quick. And then we can kind of dive into more and more. So some of these key players that we've already, which we've been talking about, but I actually want to put a face to them. So in this episode, we did have John Walker come back, Falcon Winter Soldier there as well. But then we got Lamar Hoskins, who is better known as Battlestar. Now, a little bit of backstory with him. In the comics, he actually was one of the Captain America, John Walker's partners, cronies, if you will. However, they were known as Buckies. And in Buckies, the BUC was actually capitalized and the KIES was in lowercase because that actually stood for, and I'm looking for my notes and I've misplaced them, but it was something Urban Commandos. I'm trying to remember what that was called again.
I was surprised.
Bold Urban Commando.
Okay. Wait, what was it? Sorry, one more time.
Bold Urban Commandos is what it was. And back in that time, John Walker was known as Super Patriot before he took on the mantle of Captain America when Captain America stepped away.
So I was actually going through some action figures today, oddly enough. And I found an action figure from the early 90s, and it was called the U.S. Patriot.
Okay. And U.S. Patriot or U.S. Agent?
Maybe it was U.S. Agent. But, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, I bet this is what the Captain America becomes.
Yes. So that was one of the things that I was not saying. I'm not necessarily avoiding it, but because I wasn't sure exactly if they were going to go down there, and I didn't want to quote unquote spoil it for you.
Well, Tony is dead, and back in 1993, apparently.
Well, yes. So basically, what had happened was John Walker as Captain America. His parents or his father gets murdered, and he goes bananas. And ends up killing a whole bunch of people. And because of that, the government takes away the Captain America moniker, but he comes back and it looks very similar to his outfit that he's wearing right now, as the U.S. agent. So that's basically what he's looking like.
I had the toy off to the side and then I cleaned in here. I'm like, oh yeah.
It's a what's the word?
A spoiler?
No, thing to look forward to.
Foreshadow. Wow. Dangling carrot.
Sure. For the viewers, it's something exciting for next time.
Exactly. It's if we get it, we get it. If we don't, we'll see.
No, I mean the toy. He forgot to show the toy.
Yeah.
We're all over the place. We're all having different conversations. It's all good.
That sounds about right.
Anyway, so players.
So again, that's kind of what U.S. Agent looks like.
It's totally him.
Except this guy's more buff.
Yeah. Well, in the series, in the comic books, both him and the Buckies have been giving the super soldier serum from the power brokers or power broker. I believe he was more of a one person. This is kind of maybe more of a team now. So we're not, based on some of the reactions of them, I don't know if they've actually already been given the serum or if they're not even going to go down that route.
Right.
I mean, they're pretty strong.
No, who are you talking about?
Oh, do you mean the Buckies?
Well, Lamar Hoskins as Battlestar or John Walker as Captain America.
Oh, Captain America, he gets his butt kicked in this episode.
No, he's
so I don't
saying
think...
if down the road they're going to give him the serum.
Well, so did Winter Soldier. Bucky gets his butt kicked, and he has had the super serum.
I guess you're right.
And a metal arm.
Yeah, and a vibranium arm. So, one of the other characters that is definitely making more of an appearance. We talked about her a little bit last time, and that's Carly Morgenthau, aka the leader of the Flag Smashers. So it was actually revealed that she is the leader of it. And again, she's that character is based off of Carl Morgenthau, who was the original Flag Smasher from the comic books.
She's very quiet.
Yes. Well,
In this.
And then, of course, we did have our mention. We talked about it last week, but Isaiah Bradley, aka the Black Captain America, who in the 40s.
Bradley. Okay. I remember you saying Isaiah Bradley when I see the full name, but when they said in the show, I was like, oh, who's that? But I see.
Yeah, so he's the guy that's in the credits that you kind of see the half of the face of.
Yeah.
So, but he's made his appearance now.
The guy that opened the door then is the grandson?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is Eli Bradley. He is possibly going to be back in a future series.
Right. That's who I was when I thought I was looking up Isaiah. Thank you. Isaiah. I was reading about him and I was like, oh, this guy looks like so young.
Right. So basically, in a nutshell, they are laying the groundwork for Young Avengers.
Oh, okay.
So I'm grasping at straws here. I'm jumping to conclusions. The Matt's over there. But basically, they're laying the groundwork with Wanda's two boys. They are laying the groundwork with oh my gosh, I'm forgetting her name, but I think her name is Bishop. I think that's right. But Kate Bishop, Hawkeye's daughter. And then, of course, you're also doing some stuff with some of the other young people. Eli Bradley supposedly is supposed to be kind of the Patriot, is who he becomes in the comic book. So we'll see if something happens with that.
There is definitely some pretty, heavy theming, especially with the Isaiah Bradley character, how he'd basically been hidden from society by the government all this time, and there was a lot of, racial undertones, not only with that character, but even when Falcon gets arrested by the police.
No, he doesn't get arrested.
Almost.
Over. Yeah, almost.
Yes. And
Winter
because
Soldier got arrested.
That's
but as soon as they realize he's an Avenger, then they back off. But even with the first episode when they were looking to get the bank loan, I mean, there's definitely just a lot of
racial undertones.
Yeah, not even undertones. It was pretty blatant. Like what?
Yeah, it's so, and I think that's one of the things that this series is going to be focusing a little bit on. With WandaVision, focused a lot on grief and dealing with loss. This one is kind of focusing a little bit on like government and racial issues in America. And I think that's kind of the start of everything from the bank loan to, Sam getting stopped by the police and basically saying, let me see your ID. And even, Bucky's like, just give me your ID. He's like, no, I don't need to give him my ID. I've done nothing wrong. We're just having a conversation. Mm-hmm. So, and it's just the stuff that happens, in certain places of the world, in America, that if you're Black, you may get, harassed.
I mean, I don't think I necessarily brought this up last time. Maybe I did, but the idea of, I actually learned recently that, like, for example, when they were saying, you don't have any kind of credit history for 5 years and what have you, that there's like an issue, and I'm not like an expert in this by any means, but I just thought it was interesting because I've recently learned that, like, if somebody is an immigrant from another state, credit reports and credit scores is something that's US only. So people from other countries can't even, get credit because of these issues, which is almost like they're putting it in this TV show context in this blip, but like, there's real issues that they're kind of making nod to in real life, so I just think it's kind of interesting.
Oh yeah. So we'll see how things roll out, if they're gonna keep going along with these themes. So 4 more episodes. We'll have to see what happens. There is one more character that made his official debut, and that is Zemo himself. He's locked away in prison in Germany, I believe. So I think they're gonna break him out, or he's gonna get kind of released in their custody, and something's gonna happen. It's gonna be fun.
Yes, prison breaks of villains, always a good time.
Yeah, what can go wrong? So with that, what type of what I'm gonna say is I guess we've actually already got this answer. Is like AllThatPat, you enjoyed this episode.
Yes.
BitOfRits, you were less than pleased with this episode.
Like there are bits I did like, but I do like the parts with the new Captain America. I'm very curious about him. The back and forth buddy cop feel with Falcon and Winter Soldier. I enjoy the therapist session was amusing, but there's some parts that I'm like, let's speed this up. Let's go.
I'm going to be honest with you. Combining that and combining what we just talked about 2 minutes ago, I don't feel that the political commentary with the racism and with the social economic status mentions as well, talking about how you could skim, make it go faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of I think this particular show so far is showing that it's trying to tell 2 stories. Instead of just focusing on the flag smasher idea of coming back. I mean, maybe there's a way they're really going to be intertwined, but are you trying to do a comic book movie and have the characters go forward and ultimately fight a villain that's got issues in a sense, or are you trying to make a speech or extending on political issues?
Make a point of it.
Yeah, I think they're being well done so far. However, it's I
think it's not they're not necessarily. It's an undertone in some aspect where they're making a point of it. It's not subtle. It's pretty obvious that they're making a point about some of these issues, but they're not necessarily, and maybe they will, but they're not necessarily diving into it. They're just almost making a side comment through the story of something that could actually happen where somebody really, you see a cop sees a black man yelling at a white man and assumes that he's causing an issue or something like that. And so they're pointing out these real life issues, but then they're kind of almost changing the subject just to be a nod to it to make awareness of it, but then moving on into then the white guy got arrested because he had the the arrest warrant out. So
right. Well, and then the thing is, you also going to consider is who is the villain. It's not a purple alien. It's not a a being from another realm.
Not one of the 3 or whatever. I thought that was amusing.
Yeah, aliens, wizards, or androids.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, you have a very grounded villain, so to speak. At least that's what it's being presented as of right now. The Flag Smashers are a kind of a terrorist organization that have a method, a manifesto in mind of getting us back to the way that things once were.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of that, you have a kind of that storyline that's being woven through this series that's very much grounded in reality. So you've got the issue in the real world experience of, okay, I've been gone for 5 years because I didn't exist. My sister, she kept the business going. She kept the boat from, afloat, to so to speak. And now that I'm back, I'm trying to make things right. But because I've been gone for 5 years, I don't have any credit. I don't have any history because I literally did not exist.
Right. And that makes sense based on what the Flag Smashers are coming from. They do want to go back to when it was with the blip. But that has nothing to do then with the race aspect.
I don't know that I necessarily agree with. Again, I know.
No, I mean, just based on the story.
I know, but yeah. So I don't know if I agree with that in just the terms of it's almost like a haves and have-nots kind of like argument for them. It's like, you know, when the blip happened, I'm assuming that they were able to maybe get jobs that they weren't able to get before, or, you know, they had more resources or whatever it may be. And it's almost like I'm reading it as, you know, there's certain communities in America that don't have the same opportunities, or the same, you know, can't get jobs because there's no jobs available and that sort of thing. So I can see how it potentially would tie into real life issues. And, you know, almost like the blip, it's like, you know, with COVID, a bunch of people like closed up in their houses, and then maybe some people were able to get things that they weren't able to get, or I don't know, like, you know, just there's definitely, I think, some real life scenarios that these could be intertwined into.
Right. Well, the time will tell. You know, we, like I said, we have 4 more episodes left in this series. One more will debut in just under 4 hours.
I feel like too, like it's almost an opportunity to, like, again, cause people to have conversations like we are right now, to say like, oh yeah, sure, it's like in this comic book world and these people disappeared for 5 years, but like, you know, again, like the issues that Falcon is facing with the racism, or like, again, these people who it appears like they had a better situation when half the world was gone because they were able to get things or be in situations where they weren't before. Like, it's almost like, maybe I'm reading into it, but like allowing some of these conversations to take place, but in this world of comic books, where in the past, right, that's how they were able to get away with, you know, questionable like political situations or whatever, because it's, in some ways, it's a fantasy world where you're able to talk through real life issues.
Right. And the thing is comic books have had a political message throughout all of it. And that's one of the things, like even like with Marvel, Stan Lee was very much against racism. That is like the basis of what like the X-Men were created for, is to give that message about, we're all in this, you know, we're all in this world together. You know, just because you have a different color skin, you have a different ability, doesn't mean you are less important to this world. And so that's kind of like what that is. And even he's gone on record, I think, like, there was an interview back in the 70s that, like, he says, that is why I created the Silver Surfer, because you've got this being that could spout this these kind of lessons, life lessons, but it's coming from a silver being, you know, an alien essentially, and basically, you know, telling us just get along. So for the longest time, they've conquered, you know, addressed racism and very other political stuff. So this is nothing new within like comic books and in the Marvel universe. It's just being that because of the world that we're in right now, and things of how things have changed over the last 2 to 3 years, as far as our perspective, it's very much prevalent in, you know, they can bring it forward into, you know, a comic book series. And I think that's great because, you know, you've got this medium that you can bring forth the message. And, you know, how many people are watching this series?
Right.
How many people are, you know, are tuned in? Like, they are invested 23 movies and now a TV series into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah. So now you've got yet another TV series that you've now got a little bit of a message behind it, that hopefully when it's all said and done, maybe the world's a better place just by a little bit. If it's a, you know, % or 2, that's great.
I mean, I know it's a little bit of a tangent, but I'd also say too that I definitely, even growing up, or, you know, and what you're saying, that they're able to like pull in topics such as like really like feminism. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I loved Wonder Woman. She's a very strong, you know, female superhero. And then they have like in the past couple of years, they had like the teen versions of like a Batgirl, and there's a whole cartoon series. Like I think there's a Spider Girl or something.
Yeah, Ghost Spider or Spider Gwen.
Yeah. So like, you know, they definitely try to, I think, promote all different types of people, and, you know, as you're saying, racism, what have you. And
well, they even mentioned in the episode when Falcon's walking down the street and this little boy comes up to him and it's like, oh, you're Black Falcon. He goes, no, I'm just Falcon. He goes, no, my daddy says you're Black Falcon. He goes, what, does that make you black kid? You know, like in the sense of like, you know, just pointing out like what the labels would be in the sense, you know.
Oh, I know what the other thing, sorry, I was going to say is that like Black Panther, when that came out, that was a very big deal to bring in, like, I mean, I know that AllThatPat was like talking to some of his coworkers who were like, you know, maybe before that show came out, they weren't necessarily into like comic book movies is what they called it. And then this was like, oh, this is like an action movie and it's bringing in really, you know, different new people who hadn't necessarily been into, you know, the Marvel or DC universe movies and, you know, a whole movie about, Wakanda and, like, you know, Black people were the main characters in this superhero movie. So I think that was, you know, really a great step forward too for the comic book genre, you know.
It's all about cultural representation. The fact that and that's when Chadwick Boseman passed, that broke like the Black community because that was their hero. That was who, you know, little boys, little girls, they looked up and they saw a superhero on the big screen that looked like them. You know, I'm white. All the superheroes look like me. They're not ginger, but you know, can't all, you know, I guess can't have that way. But it's nice to see that they actually have it. Miles Morales, as you know, one of the new Spider-Man when the Into the Spider-Verse came out, that was huge because again, that was that Hispanic Black culture that is what he's made of. And so that was a big cultural representation there. When Miss Marvel comes out and you're going to have that culture represented, it's going to be amazing. You know, that you have all these superheroes, you know, that are of a different race, a different background. It's just going to be amazing. And, you know, when She-Hulk makes her debut, all those green people, oh my goodness. It's not easy being green.
When I was younger too, but not as much as Wonder Woman.
Yes.
We've had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles though for a while.
There's no girl ones.
Venus? No.
Venus. What does that mean?
It's a fifth girl.
Oh, that I didn't know about, but I did like April O'Neil.
Me too.
Different reasons.
Anyway, going back to this. Yeah, so I guess what do you have any I guess additional questions specifically about this show? And if not, I have like general questions.
General questions. So, well, yeah, I would say go ahead and ask your questions, and then we can dive into the Easter eggs.
Ooh, yes, Easter eggs.
There's not that many of them.
And it's only 2 days away.
Yeah.
So, well, actually, I guess my questions are more about like, what do you think is going to happen next? So why don't we jump into the Easter eggs first, and then
it's Easter egg time. Alrighty, so there weren't that many that I spotted, or at least able to kind of to go over them. So I'm gonna go off with the cool one because when they were up on the two big rigs going down the road, having the little, you know, Matrix fight or whatever that they were doing. So on one of them, when it kind of pans from one truck to the next, you see license plate on one of the rigs. So 2011 EKH. Now, if you were watching us last time during WandaVision, you would have noticed that was exactly her license plate of her rental car or whatever, that when she left the Sword Station and went to her place in New Jersey, that was her license plate to her vehicle as well. So I guess in wherever they were to New York, same license plate numbers.
So she's now a truck driver.
Exactly. Exactly. Another one that's cool is at the very end of the episode, you get to see Zemo locked in his cell, and he's in cell number 2187. Now, for our Star Wars fans out there, that's very good to know, because that's where Princess Leia was locked in A New Hope. So, which
so
of course,
stormtrooper outfits then?
they're too small for that. And then, if you remember, I believe it was so at the end of Captain America Civil War, Bucky gets taken to Wakanda and pretty much put on ice again, kind of letting all the stuff in his brain kind of get dissolved, get rewritten, or whatever. So that way, those 7 words that Zemo knows won't trigger him to go into a murderous human being. So and then, of course, in Infinity War, we go back to Wakanda and we see that James Buchanan Barnes is now living amongst the people, and that's when he's known by the moniker of White Wolf.
Yeah.
And so in the episode, Falcon refers to him as White Panther, which again I find amusing that he kind of did the reverse of what the boy did. He's like, Black Panther. Oh, well, you're white, so you're White Panther.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not Black Falcon. But of course, that was beforehand. But
his name was Black Panther for real, and his versus just, or what did I say, Black Panther? It wasn't just Panther.
Yeah.
Slightly different.
Yes. And then, of course, while he was there, he earned the moniker of White Wolf, which is actually a different character who was so he worked for the security of Wakanda, but it was not Bucky. It was a different one. So they kind of just taken that from it. So, and then, of course, if you watched and recently Captain America, the First Avenger, the very first movie that we get his backstory, when he gets the super serum and he goes on his USO tours overseas and tries to sell all the bonds and everything like that, the music that they play is called the Star-Spangled Man with a Plan. Which, of course, when John Walker comes out onto the football field at his old high school, that is exactly what they're playing, except for it's a more modern, jazzy, upbeat, high school band type of music. So, and of course, the episode title is called The Star-Spangled Man. So that's where that kind of ties into the music there. So, yeah, that was kind of most of the things that they have. I'm looking through my notes here just to make sure I didn't forget anything. The one thing I do notice is the show wants you to like John Walker.
I was literally just gonna ask that, what are your guys' feelings about John Walker? Do you like him? Are you kind of like, I mean, I don't mind him because of how they're kind of like what you're saying, Lord Cash, kind of building him up to he's trying to just do what's right and trying to just be a good guy. He knows that he can't, fill Captain America's shoes. And then on the back end, what people, the real world can't see is that he's really struggling with this a little bit. And he doesn't necessarily feel like he wants to put on this show, but that's part of the job kind of thing. And so, I can kind of see how Falcon and Winter Soldier obviously don't like him for numerous reasons. But one of them is that they're look at this guy on these talk shows, but not knowing him, being able to see that he himself also is what am I doing on these talk shows?
Yeah, he didn't pick the job picked him, literally. They just they selected him out of the field, so to speak. Out of the front lines, more or less, and just he's Captain America. I thought that he was gonna be a straight up villain right away. And then, maybe at some point, but for right now, it's just kind of I like him, actually. I was not expecting that. That was the biggest thing that threw me off this whole episode, is I just kept waiting for to turn on them or something. And I'm like, no, the whole episode, he's a little cocky at times. But yeah, ultimately, you get that
kinda almost
3 of them now kind of not getting along. So that adds a little bit more of a dynamic to the buddy cop movie.
And he like he seems like he's trying to get in their good side, as some anti-heroes have in the past.
Well, like even when they're driving away in the Jeep, like they refuse to get in the Jeep after the battle on the big rigs. And it's just like, come on, guys, just get in the Jeep. It'll be so much easier. And they're just all being prideful and stubborn, walking along.
They get in though.
Well, then they get out.
And then they get out.
Well, basically, once they kind of insult the two of them, then basically they're like, "Yeah, we're out of here."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, they're all a little bit. All three of them are obviously very sarcastic and have a little bit of an attitude,
Right. So, one other thing that I wanted to point out, based on a text message that I received from you the other day, a certain revelation, epiphany, if you will, that you had the other day concerning
WandaVision.
Concerning WandaVision, yes. Would you like to share that, or let me just say it?
Oh no! It's basically, for some reason, I did not realize that Kate Olsen, who plays Wanda and WandaVision, was Elizabeth Olsen.
Yes.
Elizabeth Olsen, who plays Wanda, is the sister of the actual Olsen twins. Somehow I had no idea.
I didn't either. And I was a big fan of the Olsen twins growing up. I had all their sing-alongs.
I did too.
Brother for sale.
Only 50 cents. But anyway.
Actually, it came up. Well,
that Full House episode, by the way, would have had a ton of different meanings.
Yeah, now I need to rewatch that Full House episode. But what was it? Somebody was eating, peanut butter and jelly. And I was like, what's that peanut butter and jelly song? And him and his friend are like singing
peanut butter jelly time.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, the peanut butter and jelly. And that's when his friend informed us about this whole thing that she's the younger sister. And then we were like, what?
Yep. So, by chance, do you know who Captain America, John Walker, is the child of?
Texas Ranger.
Uncle Dan or Danny Taylor.
Here, let's. Well, like I say, let's look at his face, but it's not really good. And this would I would have to get a new slide of it.
Can't get over.
It is not. Hold on.
Wait, what?
Is it Uncle Joey?
No.
Oh, okay.
Is it somebody even Full House related?
No.
Oh, I'm sticking with Texas Ranger.
Norris?
Like
Norris?
His real last name isn't Walker. Never mind.
Jay Leno. The chin.
Well, if I gave you his name, you definitely would figure it out.
Give us the name then.
His last name. Well, I give you his name is Wyatt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
It is Kurt Russell's son.
Huh.
And Goldie Hawn.
Oh.
That is their offspring.
I like Goldie Hawn.
Yes. So, and what is it? Kate Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
They're related.
Huh.
So, yeah. My wife was like, who knew the offspring of Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn would be Carl from Up?
Yeah, no, that was like the weirdest thing. As soon as you said that the last episode, that it was like Carl from Up. As soon as I saw that, I'm like, yeah, there's the jaw.
Yep. Which, by the way, they have released the concept art, so to speak, of the John Walker Captain America Funko Pop.
Huh.
It's on its way.
Like him.
So I will collect him. Like I said, I already still have my Falcon, and I've got Winter Soldier looking at me up there. He's got the high ground right now.
Yeah.
So, and then nope.
You know, while you're looking for your pop, the Mr. T Hulk Hogan Funko Pop double pack that we got, it's doubled in price.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where did you go?
We're right here, Brian. Brian.
I can't see you. No, because I have the other pop of Baron Zemo, but I don't see the box what I did with them. So, whatever.
All right. So,
Well, I'm enjoying this series.
yeah.
Like I said, if you want to stay for another 3.5 hours, it will drop on Disney Plus episode 3. So that's going to be good times. I might catch it, or while I'm waiting in the dentist office tomorrow. So yeah. Anything you guys wanted to add before we call it a night?
7 + 4.
11.
Why is that funny? I don't know, but I think we're done. We're done for tonight. This is interesting though. I do feel like, okay, get the giggles out for a second.
I'll be here all night.
What are you hoping to see in the next episode?
So, what I'm hoping to see is I want to find out who is the power broker. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a single person or if it's kind of like they've done where one person became an entity for the Flag Smashers. If they're kind of do the same thing where Power Broker was a single person in the comics, now it's kind of the Power Brokers as kind of a Hydra-esque type organization. Yeah. And basically the vaccines that they took from the truck were actually supposedly, the way I'm hearing is those vaccines are actually super soldier serums.
That's what I assume.
Oh yeah. I assume that also. Yeah. And
so
what I liked, sorry, finish your thought and I'll
no, just saying that pretty much everyone in the Flag Smashers, as we saw from them fighting on top of the big rigs, they have the power. So they've got the strength beyond being able to do what they need to do.
Hoodoo.
So that's why I'm wondering. There's when Sam and Bucky are kind of walking behind the Jeep, and they mention that the soldiers are super soldiers. John Walker kind of looks at Battlestar, goes, "Really? Super soldiers? Don't know nothing about that." If you kind of look at his actions there, it almost is like, hope he doesn't know about us. We've already got the serum, type of thing. That's what I'm wondering, if they're going to reveal that they've already been given the super soldier serum, or if they're going to get the super soldier serum from the government to help, stand toe to toe with the Flag Smashers.
Yeah, they need a little bit of a backup. What I'm anticipating this next episode though is that we're gonna have Bucky, basically the Winter Soldier, is gonna probably fight the Falcon, and I only say that because if Baron Zemo knows the words that are gonna set him off, when they go to visit him, he might set them off, might intentionally set him off to screw around.
But I thought that the whole thing was that he got unbrainwashed or
I believe so.
On the credits though, like, you know what I mean? They keep making reference to it that there's still possibly.
Well, maybe it'll be like he might get somewhat of an urge, but then you'll see him fight through it, like
right. There might be some kind of,
but not necessarily attack anybody. Or I'm hoping that he's he's neutralized enough. I don't know what word to use, but enough that he can somewhat control it.
He's been reset to factory settings.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a big knockdown drag out, but it might be just kind of like.
Obviously, we're throwing out hypotheses of next episode or whatever.
Yeah. And of course, there's going to be some sort of Zemo's going to toy with them and try to pin them against each other, I'm sure. But again, I don't know. I would imagine that Falcon now knows these words himself. So when Zemo starts kind of saying one word, then the next word, there's 7 words. Unless he can go really fast and spat out these 7 words really quickly, it's easily just Sam's going to go pop right in the face and be like, "Stop that. We're not playing that game."
Hopefully.
You know,
And
hopefully.
hopefully his little Falcon robot.
Red Wing.
Red.
Wait, we need to have a moment.
Yeah. Hopefully he comes back.
You got it's a moment of silence. Okay, that's good. Yeah, that was heartbreaking. Red Wing is gone.
But hopefully, they repair him or they bring up a new one that is cuter, like in Flubber.
Yes, that's exactly what they're going to do. Of course, this now means that Sam can move around freely around the country, the world, without being followed by the U.S. government. So, kind of did them a favor.
Yeah.
Wait. Wilson, right? Sam Wilson.
Yes, Falcon.
The volleyball.
No. Yeah, there's a book that I read to my 5th grade students. The guy's name's Sam, and he has a falcon that he takes care of. But it's Sam Gribley in that. Anyway.
No relation.
No, really, I'm serious. It's called Frightful's Mountain.
It's the same Falcon. Yes. AllThatPat. It's the same Falcon. Okay. So, I don't even remember what my original question was going to be about 5 minutes ago. But
where do you see yourself in 5 years? No, that's not the right question. No, just like we were kind of talking about, what were we expecting? The whole Zemo going to be, toying with their emotions and this and that, and Red Wing epic defeat.
What I am feeling is, and I felt this way in WandaVision, I feel like we need a cheat sheet at the top of our screen of all these people's names because I'm horrible with names. And I'm like, the neighbor guy lady.
Well, thankfully for us, we have our names on little banners.
We need like a little cheat sheet along the whole top of our screen so that I can know who the heck I'm trying to mention. Like there was a doctor lady. She's like one of my favorite characters. I still don't know her name.
The shrink?
From WandaVision.
Oh, wait, who? What? Oh, Darcy.
Yes, Darcy. I had to ask every time. I can't with the names.
Seriously, y'all need to do your Marvel homework. You need to spend,
I only know faces. Names are too hard. I call her Sassy Doctor Lady. That's her name.
Yes, that is exactly who she is.
Anyway, so on that note.
It's like a farting note.
That was a note of a different color. So clearly, we need to do this show more often after 11 o'clock because
after hours.
I know it's our special edition.
I stream after dark. Hi guys, welcome to our show.
Gotta throw some booze in the ice cream.
Boo!
Fantastic. Alrighty, well, I think that pretty much wraps up our night. Put a little bow on it.
That's a summary of our whole episode.
Yep. So, final thoughts before we head on out and go to bed. Try to rinse, repeat.
Forward to next episode. I like the banter. Looking forward to that, and I definitely do want to see what's going on with the
Flag Smashers.
Thank you. Group and
the cane masks.
Now you said that the leader in the comics was male and now it's female. Right. So I guess if nothing else, that kind of leads back to how Marvel is aware of like bringing in different genders and things throughout storylines because it is pretty male heavy right now. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been, I should say. But
well, that's what the Flag Smasher looked like in the comics, and of course, his name was Carl. Her name was Carly. So, yeah, a little bit of a stretch. They just added an I.
Yes, but it's obviously too like in terms of I'm kind of like rolling back to what we said earlier, where even like there was the guy that had the hidden room for them, and he made the bet like there are people who feel like they need this group to represent them, and they're mainly in the areas what were they called? Like, were they refugee camp areas or something? Like areas of devastation where there's like third world countries.
Like refugee camps.
Yeah, so it's obviously they're kind of like they're seen as the heroes for those who have nothing at this time, and just need somebody. I mean, that's kind of, again, total aside, but isn't that like how some of like the dictators came into power in real life, right? It's like
taking advantage of the needy and of the vulnerable.
Yeah, and then turning kind of bad, which not necessarily that they're gonna be going bad in the way that we see it, but because we already see them as bad and they think they're doing something right. So,
well, I'm gonna leave you with one last thought.
Yes,
and that is the next time you listen to good old John Walker, tell me he does not sound like Bruce Campbell.
He's got the chin.
Oh, he does. So, but
who's Bruce Campbell?
Ash. Also in Spider-Man.
Ash Ketchum? Who's Ash?
Ash Ketchum, yes.
Ash, as in the Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, got my boomstick.
Boba Helptep.
Okay.
Do you remember the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire?
Yes.
You remember Bonesaw? Ooh, we get you for 3 minutes.
No.
Basically, he was the ring announcer.
Okay.
He's like, hey, kid, what do you want to be called? Man Spider. That's stupid. Spider-Man!
I'll have to rewatch this.
Yes. He's also the usher in Spider-Man 3.
Usher. He did all those good dances.
Or maybe it was 2. Wherever like Mary Jane is in the play, he's the usher that won't let him in.
Oh.
So
he's the narrator in the Spider-Man video game for
Spider-Man. Yeah, that will really help me recognize him.
Yes. But anyways, I was just I'm like, who does he sound like? And I eventually realized it's Bruce Campbell. So that is our show. We want to say thank you for joining us here. Make sure you do like and subscribe to our channel, the New York Nerd Show. We have lots of shows that we do from time to time. One of them is one you're watching right now, I Stream, You Stream, which is normally at 8 o'clock every Thursday night, where we kind of dived into the world of the streaming world. We also do have our Monday night show called Slam Nation, where AllThatPat and myself, we talk about the world of wrestling and WWE, Raw and SmackDown review. So definitely join us there.
What? We're going to have to pull a winner to win a random card or whatever the heck that contest was supposed to be. And you can announce it on next Monday's show.
Ooh.
Well, and you just have to like, subscribe, or that fun stuff on any of the platforms, and you'll win a very random couple of cards.
Very cool. And speaking of cards, we also do some unpacking of those cards on our crazy card collecting show. So basically, we undo various Garbage Pail Kids, old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cards. So Dinosaur, that's right. Definitely check out the episode where we kind of look through those. So if you're a big fan of Not the Mama, which
who isn't?
Ironically, that was my undershirt today.
Ooh.
So it was the Jurassic Park logo with Baby Sinclair in the middle, and it says "Gotta Love Me."
Oh man, I need that.
It's fantastic. So, and then on top of that, when we go get things in the mail, we do mail call mail time. We do video game stuff. We go to the game room. So definitely make sure you keep an eye out for that. And then every now and then, as you can clearly see, I'm a big fan of the Funko Pops. So definitely when we do have our show, Funko Royalty, I'll be unboxing a bunch of those. I finally got all of my Emerald City Comic Con Funkos in, so I'll be doing a video with that. I got like 6 of them left. So definitely fun stuff.
Always.
Mm-hmm.
So until then, we will bid you all a good night.
Adios.
Maybe.
Hello?